Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. Today's subject and topic: custom OSs versus stock Android. And this live stream was inspired by a comment I got on a recent video where a certain person decided to point out that they feel that, Google can be quite lazy, considering what third-party developers are able to do with Android. So it's very, very interesting. And yeah, lately I've been on this binge installing Evolution X on multiple Pixel devices that I have. And shout out to the developer. The developer found my video and decided to leave a comment on it. So appreciate it. Titus, what's up, man? Welcome in. Yeah. So if you guys want to show your support, you guys can smash the like button and share this so other people can find it and, be able to get some insight to it. I am going to flash Evolution X on my Pixel 7 live on this live stream today here in a little bit. I'm about to do that. So you guys will see how that works out, and if I end up successfully flashing the software or soft bricking my Pixel 7, and then you'll be watching me having to fix that. I know I'm willing to take the risk on that, and so I'm fully aware of that, of what risks are involved. But yeah, so let's see. We'll do it like this. Well, how's it going, everybody? How's it going? Also, yeah, QR code right there. If you guys anyone wants to drop a dono, would be much appreciative, but liking and sharing the video really helps out. So put that up in the top corner. I have no idea who this person is that's calling the number. Someone's calling my Pixel 7. I have no clue what that number is, but oh well. I don't need it. So anyways, prerequisites of what I've already done to my Pixel 7. I've already unlocked the bootloader. Now, to simply do that, for me to explain, I'll put it in context like this. But literally all you're going to be doing to unlock the bootloader is in developer options. So you want to enable developer options. Best way to do that is just going into your settings, going all the way down in settings to where it says about phone, and you're going to click on that. Right at the bottom where it says build number, down here at the bottom it says build number. You're going to tap that 5 times. You're going to see a little window pop up, and it's going to tell you like how many more times you have to click before enabling developer options. And once you've clicked it 5 times, it should tell you developer options enabled. So you'll go back 1 step after that, and in settings you'll click on system, and then you should see developer options right there. When you're in developer options, you click that. The first thing you're going to find is OEM unlock. Mine's is grayed out because I've already unlocked my bootloader, but if your bootloader is still locked, you should be able to toggle that one. And once you turn on OEM unlock, then you're going to scroll down and find USB debugging, and you're going to turn that on. Once you have those 2 things turned on, connect your device to your computer, open up a command prompt, and just to make sure that everything is working just fine, just type in the commands for ADB space device. And if you see that it has a serial number, which, I'll show you guys here in a second. Actually, I'll just open up one for you right now. Also, a misstep that I forgot to tell you is make sure that you have USB drives and everything pretty much installed. So you're going to want platform tools. You can get that from downloading the Android Studios, and you'll get platform tools. You need that. You need the USB drives for it. But anyways, to open a command prompt and to check. So literally, let me switch, make this one bigger real quick. There we go. That should be slightly bigger. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to open up a command prompt. That would be that. And let me move that over to my second screen so you guys can see it. And just to make sure that, USB drives and everything is correctly installed on this, what you're going to do is ADB space devices. If you see this, well, let me switch it up and do this real quick. This will make it bigger. Okay, but if you see this right here where it has like this serial number, then you are connected. So yeah. And then from there, you would just basically type in this command. I'm not actually going to do it, but I'll type it so you guys can see it. So you're going to type in basically ADB reboot bootloader. Once you type that command in, your phone is going to restart. Do not disconnect it from the cable. Leave it connected. It's going to restart, but it's going to reboot into the bootloader. So once you're actually, hang on. Let me put the files that I need in the platform tools because I'm actually going to flash the ROM into it. So let me rename these. I don't know. When I downloaded them, it freaking gave it like an additional number. This is probably not the best tutorial ever, but what I do for the ROM itself, so it makes it easier for it to flash, I just rename it like, so I'll rename it ROM P7 EX. I'll just name it that, so that way it's not a super long name like the actual name of the ROM zip is. So rename vendor boot. There we go. All right, let me drag these files into copy and paste. So what's happening right now is I'm moving the necessary files that I need to flash Evolution X on my Pixel 7. I'll give that some time. So just to kind of answer your question really quickly. So flashing a ROM helps the phone run more smoothly. It depends. It depends. Because there are certain ROMs out there that are built and maybe, maybe there's just like, maybe like so many features that the phone technically isn't supposed to support, but they've added it into the ROM and it can make the software experience a bit choppy and buggy. That's very rare, but sometimes, a developer builds and, wants to add things in that the phone currently doesn't have. Like, for instance, my Pixel 6a, this device literally does not have face unlock. And with the Evolution X ROM for it, the developer was able to actually put it to where you can use face unlock on the Pixel 6a. So, and that actually works pretty good because I demoed it yesterday on the videos, and I showed that not only does it do face unlock, but like if you try to wake the screen with your eyes closed, it will not unlock the phone unless your eyes are open. So it's got some form of security for facial unlock. I wouldn't say that it's like, super secure like the Pixel 4 XL's face unlock, but it's almost to that. Maybe on a live stream, I'll try to do a demo test and see if the face unlock will unlock with like, a 2-dimensional picture on my phone. And if it unlocks for that picture, then it's not that secure. But if it doesn't unlock, then we know it's a lot more secure. Anyway, so I have the necessary files to flash my Pixel 7, put into the platform tools folder. That's where you want it at. But anyways, so I'll do this right now because I'm about to flash the phone at the same time. So let's kick the tires and light the fires. All right, so like I was saying, to get to unlock your bootloader, make sure you have the necessary tools from Android Studios installed on your PC. Make sure that the USB drives are up to date and installed as well. And you're going to go into your phone's developer options. You're going to enable OEM unlock and USB debugging. Once you have those two things turned on, you're going to open up a command prompt such as this. And to make sure that your phone is connected properly, like for my computer, the command is /adb_devices, and it showed a list of devices attached, right? So now my new command to get the bootloader unlocked is that we're going to boot the phone into fastboot. So that command basically is just, for me, it's /adb reboot bootloader. While that happens, my phone should be powering off and turning back on here in a sec. There it goes. It just powered off. Now it's going to look like that. When you're here, you're in basically fast boot mode. So now the command changes from ADB, which is Android Device Bridge, to fast boot. So every command that I type here is going to be fast boot. Now to unlock the bootloader, I'm not going to do it because mine is unlocked already, but I'll show you what the command is. But basically it's, how mine is set up is /fastboot and flashing unlock. Type that command and hit enter, and it's going to unlock your bootloader. It will wipe your entire phone. Your phone will get wiped. So anything that you have important, you want to make sure you have it backed up. But once you do that, it's going to give you another window that looks just like this, but where it says start, instead of it saying start, it's going to say do not unlock bootloader. And if you tap volume up, then I'll say unlock bootloader. You hit that, it'll wipe the phone and it'll unlock the bootloader. It'll reboot itself. Once it's rebooted, go back in, to settings. So if you want, you could just skip the initial setup wizard, get straight into the operating system, and then go to settings, enable developer options again because it was a fresh wipe. So you're gonna have to re-enable that. And then once you have developer options open, then you want to go ahead and turn back on USB debugging. You won't have to turn on OEM unlock because your bootloader is already unlocked. Once the bootloader is unlocked, anything can be flashed onto the device, which is what we're going to do right now. So I'm going to install Evolution X right now on my Pixel 7. I am not worried about Android 15 beta. I still have it on my Pixel 6. I don't intend on flashing that one to EvoX until a little bit later. But I'm not too concerned about having the latest Android 15, as this video or this live stream pretty much talks about that, custom OSs versus Android OS. Why am I doing this? Why have I flashed multiple of my Pixel devices over to Evolution X? And I'll explain that once I'm done flashing it on here as I'm setting up the Pixel 7. So let me go ahead and just take this command out. I'll keep the fast boot. So some of the first things that we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to flash the boot image, the dtbo image, the vendor kernel boot image, and then the vendor boot. We're going to flash those three things first. And according to the instructions by the developer, is you're going to go in the order of flashing the boot image, flashing the dtbo image, flashing the vendor kernel boot image, and then flashing the vendor boot, the vendor boot image. So that's the first things that we're going to do. And the command is very simple on doing this. You would type in basically like how mine's is set up right now, /fastboot. And we're just going to type in flash boot space boot.img. I know it sounds funky to have to, type in boot, But basically the name of the file is the destination, right? So you have to tell the shell what destination you want flashed and what file you want flashed in it, right? So the boot image that's already in my Pixel 7 is there. So we're going to start with this one. So again, /fastboot flash boot image. Okay. That's the first command we're going to do. I'm going to hit enter, sending to boot A, writing on boot A, finish time. So that's done. Once you see that, that is done. All right. So the next step, literally, and I'm going to pull my cheat sheet up so I go in the order that's correct. But now what I'm going to do is type in /fastboot. The command to do is to flash, and we're going to flash dtbo with the dtbo.img. So we're going to do that, hit next. It's doing that, flashed it to dtbo_a. So that's there, it's done. Now we're going to initiate the next step, which is /fastboot flash. And it's the vendor_kernel_boot. Okay, so vendor, make sure you spell these things correctly too. So take your time, never rush when you're flashing a ROM because you can fuck your phone up. But vendor_kernel_boot. And then we're gonna type that in again. Now you can actually type this out, a little sidestep. You can actually type this out like on like a notepad. So you could just copy paste, but I like to type it out to make sure that everything is typed out correctly and that there's no issues. But kernel_boot boot.img. Right, so fastboot flash vendor_kernel_boot with the file name vendor_kernel_boot image. Sending, that was flashed in, everything is okay, we're checked up. Now we're on the last step here. Last step is for the vendor boot image, so /fastboot, and we're gonna do flash vendor_boot with vendor, not space, _boot.img. Uh-oh. It did not recognize it. Why? Did I rename that file? Or did I spell that right? Category object not found, command found execution. Okay, hold on. Let's try this one more time. Well, actually, before I do that, okay, yeah, that's there. Okay, /fastboot flash vendor_boot with vendor the term is not recognized as the name. That should be there. Don't know why it's doing that now. Maybe if I change that, maybe I might be slightly confused with that. So, all right. Let's try this one more time. Boot slash vendor underscore boot with vendor underscore boot 1.img. Okay. Fastboot, reboot, bootloader. So what I'm doing right now is rebooting the bootloader. Okay, so I'm just going to reopen a new one. Platform tools. Make sure that it's connected. Fastboot devices. We are connected. Let's try that flash again. Fastboot. Flash. Vendor underscore boot with vendor underscore boot 1.img. There we go. Boom. Now that's done. All right, now that we have that done, we have the ROM file. It's rom.p7ex, so I'll keep that in mind. What we're going to do right now is fastboot, reboot, recovery. So now it's going to reboot into the recovery. So we're not really going to, well, I'll do this now and just kind of switch it. And there we go. There it goes. It's going to boot into recovery. This is the new recovery for it. So this is actually not the stock recovery. But next step, basically what you want to do is just completely wipe the device. So I'll do a format data factory reset. There we go. And go back. Once you've done it and it tells you you successfully formatted and you wipe the device, go into the advanced and you just want to reboot into recovery. And it's going to reboot the device again. There it goes. You should see that, which tells you the bootloader is unlocked. You'll always get, when you unlock the bootloader, you will always get that on there. Now that we're back in recovery, what you want to do is you want to click apply update and then apply update from ADB. And then now it's going to tell you to do the command. This is why you don't close out the command prompt. So I'll bring this back up. And just real quick, just to make sure there is still a connection, dot / ADB devices. Oh, wait, wrong command. I typed that wrong. ADB space devices. We are connected and it's ready to sideload. You should see this right here. So the next command basically is to ADB sideload and you want the ROM name. So what I'll do here to make sure that I don't mess that up is what I do is I click rename and then I just copy the name of it. And what you're going to type in next, you follow the command, basically ADB sideload, and then the name of the zip file. So this is what it'll look like. Star that ADB sideload, and I will put that, which is the zip file name, .zip. Do not forget to add the .zip because it is a zip file. Once you hit enter, it's going to flash it. So now you should see this serving. Well, I'm pointing to the screen. You guys can't see that. Serving ROM p7ex.zip 0%. So now it's flashing it. You start to see this change. The values here will start to change. And we'll just wait. This usually takes a little bit of time right here. Other than that, while we're playing the waiting game, how are you guys doing? Looks like someone clicked the QR code, so I appreciate that. Thank you. If you did leave a dono, appreciate it. But again, smash the like button and share this so other people can kind of catch wind of this. Once this is done installing, we'll get more into the topic, and I'll answer more of your questions, Titus, if you're still here, about the reasonings for flashing the ROM and why people do it. It's very almost similar to like how my battery's dying on my iPhone. I don't want the webcam to die. But very, same reasons why people jailbreak iPhones. You can actually have your phone run a lot better with certain ROMs depending on what's built into it. Very light ROMs are obviously going to run like super fast, very fluid, very efficient, because there's not a lot into the software that's going to bog it down and make it run jittery. I'm just letting my wife know that I love her. She made it to work safely. Yeah, this is the longest part of the entire process. And this, you want to make sure, one, do not disconnect the wire, your USB wire. Do not disconnect it from the phone. If you do that, you'll totally fuck your phone up. Because right now, when I was in recovery and I did a factory reset and formatted data, now there's no software on the phone at all whatsoever. All that's in there is the recovery. And if you can't get back into the recovery, you can't flash anything. So yeah, just let it do its thing. It'll probably freak some of you guys out because it only goes up to 47% before it tells you that that it's completed step 1 and step 2. That's okay. That's totally fine. If it finishes at 47%, it's not like you have half of the file itself. There's 2 partitions in your drive. There's partition A and partition B. So this is flashing onto partition A. And the reason why you have 2 partitions is because in developer options, you'll see something in the developer options settings, and it says DSU, and that's you can sideload GSIs as long as your bootloader is unlocked. I try to install an Android 14 GSI for a Pixel 4 XL, but mine is a Verizon variant, and so the bootloader can't be unlocked because Verizon locked that down, and Verizon will never unlock a bootloader for a phone. Doesn't matter how much you comment to them and bitch at them, they won't do it. So it won't take up more RAM or less RAM. Like random access memory is just basically when your applications are open, it's what's using that, right? As far as like the internal storage itself, yes, it will take up internal storage, but not like as if you have your old software taking up, you know, like 10% of the internal storage, and then this operating system taking up another 10%. It's not stacked like that, because your old ROM is completely wiped off. So Android 14 is wiped off my Pixel 7, and I'm installing this in place of that. So this will be the default operating system. Anytime I boot the phone on, it will be the default operating system, and the amount of RAM will be the same as if it was on stock Android. So I believe the Pixel 7 has 8 gigabytes of RAM, so it'll still have 8 gigabytes of RAM for your apps to use. It's just there's a ton more features in Evolution X. Yesterday's video with the Pixel 6a, I showed you guys like how to customize everything from the font to forcing, you know, LTE carrier aggregation to forcing 5G over NR, like voice over 5G NR, like basically. So VONR, you can turn that on. At least with the Pixel 6a you can. Not on the Pixel 5, I didn't see that option there. You can just do a ton of customizations on it. So, but you do have additional tools too. Like one of the things is battery. You have this additional tool within the battery settings of this ROM where you can actually see your battery health like you can on iPhones. And you can see how many charge cycles you've already done with that battery. So you get more in depth to look at like all aspects of your phone itself. So it allows you to really just kind of see more. And yeah, this is why, like, you know, yesterday's video, the comment that I got, the person that commented that pretty much hit it like right there, basically stating that, you know, they feel that Google is lazy, because Google could actually let us have access to these things. They could let us change the font if we wanted to without having to, you know, do all these extra things in the Play Store. They could allow you to basically see these stats with your battery, to enable certain things. So even like I said, like with the Pixel 6a, you can use Face Unlock on it now, with this ROM. Whereas before they said there was issues with the Pixel 6, the 6a, and basically the Tensor G1. There was issues with that regarding Face Unlock, so that's why they never put it on there. They put it on the Pixel 7, the 7 Pro, and the 7a, and going forward, right? Well, you have Face Unlock on the Pixel 6a with this ROM. And the developer assured that they will continue to update the different devices, because they don't only do Google Pixels, they do Xiaomi, they do, I think, Motorola, Samsung. So there are different devices that they support. They're continuing to stabilize Android 14. You know, people who are asking about what about Android 15? Android 15 is not even out yet. So we're not even at that point where we could just be like, okay, Android 14, you know, Android 15, like flash it on here right now. No. Android 15 is not available yet. It'll fully roll out probably August or September. But yeah, this is the longest part. After this, you're done. Once this says that step 1 and step 2 has been flashed onto your device, you are free to reboot your phone and disconnect it from there and be able to test it out. So there's like several things that I'm going to test out after I get everything set up. One of the things is making sure that I install carrier services from Google, so that way RCS messaging would work. On my Pixel 6a, RCS message works, but on my Pixel 5, it doesn't. No matter how many times that I, clean wipe the app and go through the initial setup process, RCS doesn't work on the Pixel 5. So hopefully it works on this, but I'm not too concerned if RCS doesn't work on the Pixel 7 for me, only because my family and everybody else does not use Android messages. We chat on Facebook Messenger because my whole family, everyone has a Facebook profile. So we just chat on Facebook Messenger. So that is pretty much what could happen, but what probably won't happen. Anyways, it looks like we're at 45%. So we'll see if it stops at 47. I'm just watching the screen here to make sure that everything is good. Oh, we're done. 47%. The screen. So now I don't even need this, so I can just stop sharing and show you guys full screen mode now. And now I went back to this. So this is how you know it's done. You can see there it flashed step 1 and 2. So now, literally, if you want to install additional packages, like if you have like magisk zip file to root your phone, you can now flash that on if you want to. But you know, I don't really need to at this point. So I'll hit no. I don't want to reboot recovery. What I want to do now is reboot to system. Well, once we get that Google logo, then we're good. There it goes. So that lets you know that the bootloader is unlocked. You can now disconnect your cable. Little message from the developers. And the splash screen. So yeah, we're good at this point now. This might take a little bit of time just because it's a first initial boot. So it may take quite a bit of time. No more than I'd say 5 minutes. So now I can close out everything and just let it do its thing. Now to specifically go into why, why custom device, like why custom OS over stock Android. It's more about control. Welcome to Evolution X. So I'll get started. But it's more about having control, especially if you want to be able to enable more things. If the ROM carries the specific thing that you want. Signing into my Wi-Fi real quick so I can begin my setup wizard. Oh, and one last thing too. If you have any backups, do not install those, right? So when you're going through the initial setup wizard, when it gets to that point, if you want to copy from another device or, copy from your Google account, do not copy, set it up from a fresh point. So yes, you're going to have to reinstall all your applications, re-sign into all your applications, because if you actually use a backup to restore, you are going to cause some issues with this. And then you'll have to like wipe it and reflash it again. And you don't want to do that. So like at this point right here, I'm just going to click do not copy and just go through all the initial signups, like signing into my Google account and doing all that stuff. But yeah, custom ROMs has been around for a long time. This channel was actually founded on just flashing so many different custom ROMs to a Galaxy S2 Epic 4G Touch, and it was one of my favorite things to do, to kind of show people like the different ROMs from different developers, types of things that developers thought maybe people wanted, and so they would build these things. And these things aren't easy. So also, if you guys decide to mess around with custom ROMs, a lot of these sites on XDA, they have a little link that tells you like, if you appreciate their work, give a donation. And I would ask people to please donate a little something, $5, you know what I mean? Because these things aren't easy to build. It requires a lot of things. It requires the developer to go out and buy the phone, obviously, that they're going to be building the custom ROM for. They got to have the phone in order to test it out, right? And that's a lot of phones. People are like, do one for the Pixel 6, do one for the Pixel 5a, or do one for the Galaxy S21 Fan Edition. And it's like, they'll do it, but they need the phone in order to do that. So these donations helps them grab a hold of devices that, they're just going to use strictly for developing, and then they'll build the ROM. And then also, if you are going to flash, the ROM onto your device, give feedback. If you find any issues that may be broken, like maybe Bluetooth's not working for you, maybe Wi-Fi won't turn on for you, like don't just be like, okay, well, what, I have 5G, 5G is good, I'll just, continue on with 5G. Like, report that, let them know, so that way that, because you may not be the only one that's experiencing that issue. And they can get right on it to get it fixed. And yeah, the only way they're going to know is if you say something. I'm doing the fingerprint sensor right now. Getting that set up. I'll turn the other side. Okay, that fingerprint is added. Let me add another one. But yeah, you know, you can do a little bit more with custom ROMs. So I know Android just gives us basically bare bones, right? And for the most part, you know, it's good. Like Material U UI was Google's way of like saying like, hey, you know, we understand some of you guys love the customizations of custom ROMs, so we'll give you guys something similar. They kind of did with Material U UI, but it's still pretty limited. Yeah, I mean, some people don't care about customizing their phone, and that's totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. You know, you just want to use the phone and you want the phone to work, and that's totally cool. Some people love to be able to come up with, you know, something new, kind of, you know, take a picture of it, tweet about it. And so now I'm gonna set up my face unlock. Everything looks good, it says. So face unlock works. We'll continue. You can set up the Google Assistant. I don't want to set up tap to pay. So now I'll just let it finish up. But yeah. And of course, there's different types of Android, right? You have, you know, full Android. We're all set now. Yeah, but anyways, you have full Android. You have Android Go. You have Android One. There's different ones. And then you have custom ROMs. Honestly, Android Go is just for like very underpowered devices. As a matter of fact, if I was running shit at Google, Android Go would be a lot further than what it is, only because there are a lot of old devices that people still want to use. Like some people still love their HTC 10 or their HTC One A9. You know, their Samsung Galaxy J7 2016. Like people still love these phones. I would make Android Go backwards compatible to older devices because initially Android Go software is made to run on devices, you know, that have like 16 gigabytes of internal storage and maybe like as small as 512 megabytes of RAM, and still be able to function and run smooth. This is why if you actually go in the Play Store and you look, you'll see that there's Android apps and, well, you know, Google apps for Android, and then there's Google Go apps, right? Like there's Go Maps and, you know, Go Photos and Chrome Go. Like there's all these different light-based version apps that give you the basic functionalities of what you would use those apps for without all the heaviness. And yeah, you can even use instead of in place of Google Photos, like if you don't like Google Photos, like the stock one, you can actually get the Google Go Photos, which is a lighter version that backs up all your photos. And like some people like the user interface of that rather than the user interface of Google Photos. So, but all right, we're in like Flynn. So, and just so you guys see before I start installing things, this is how bare bones. This is how bare bones the ROM is. That's all the apps that's installed. Play Store, Chrome browser. That's it. Everything else is going to start installing once I have like all my old apps in the Play Store. Start clicking them off to install. But yeah, other than that, I'm just gonna let it sit for a minute. Turn off Bluetooth real quick, but I'm gonna let it sit and just, you know, finish initializing. That way I'm not rushing into it. I was gonna jailbreak the iPhone 11 Pro Max today. I was gonna jailbreak that because there is a jailbreak for iOS 17.4.1. Problem with that when I was reading through it though is that it leaves the iPhone like super vulnerable. Like honestly, super vulnerable. So let me see. There's people that's commenting on something. Replying to a comment, sorry. Yeah, someone just commented about iOS not allowing you to move your apps where you want to on your home screen, and in fact, iOS 18 will allow that. Apple's really changing up a lot, really kind of going Android-esque. So yeah, but yeah, I was considering jailbreaking my iPhone 11 Pro Max. I'm not gonna do it. It leaves it vulnerable. A lot of the security that native iOS has gets ruined, and that's not a good enough reason for me to want to customize the iPhone 11. Because if there's a real secure way of jailbreaking the iPhone 11 Pro Max, I'll do it, and I'll do it on a live stream so you guys can see when I'm doing it live, and then what kind of customizations you can do to the home screens on iOS and stuff like that. This is why when some people see someone post something about their iPhone and they have a crazy cool widget that you can't find in the App Store, you don't know how that person got that widget, 9 times out of 10 their iPhone's jailbroken, and that's how they got that widget on there, from a third-party developer for iOS that built that widget. So but anyways, as far as custom ROMs go, there are risks in that too. You have to read and this is like one of the biggest things. You have to read the thread. So if you find it like on XDA, you have to read the thread very closely. And by the way, anyone that wants to flash this ROM specifically for the Pixel 7, so the link I'm posting is not for you to flash it on your Pixel 6. This is just for the Pixel 7. This is where I got every file to download and flash onto the Pixel 7, but this would be the link here. Now I'll take you to Evolution X for the Pixel 7. Oh, that unlocked already. This is one app that I'm really going to enjoy. This app is natively built into Evolution X, and it is the basic call recorder where you can record phone calls, whether you outbound call or inbound call, and it allows you you can set up auto record rules, so you can set up how it auto records. You can choose a specific destination for the audio file that you saved. You can choose the format, so you can choose it in 48 kilobits per second at 16,000 hertz. You can disable battery optimization. You can write metadata file. So this is an app that's natively built in. Comes in handy if you ever want to have phone conversations recorded. Maybe for fun, or maybe just for a note, right? If you can't remember what the conversation was with a friend and you have that audio note file, you can go back and listen to your phone call and be like, oh yeah, I told him I'd meet him at 7 a.m. All those things. And yeah, in settings, we have the Evolver. That's the setting that lets you do a lot of the configurations and customizations to the user interface and completely change that up. So That's really cool. I'm gonna start fudging around with that. I know most people aren't interested in custom ROMs, totally fine, but I am, and so that's why I've been covering it lately, as there really hasn't been a good custom ROM that I've liked for so long. Evolution X really brought that aspect of what I'm looking for in a custom ROM back. And it's not just customizing the fonts and making it look super unique. It's also the different settings you have, like the ability to really kind of see where your battery health is at, the ability to really secure your device down, the ability to basically like push your modem on your device to its breaking point to achieve better quality connection. I don't give a damn about fast speeds. Like, you could have like 1,000 megabit per second download speed, but if your fucking latency is like 118 milliseconds, well, then you're not really enjoying that. So having the fastest speeds, I really don't care about, but having the best quality speeds is what I care about. Not having my phone freeze up because of data issues, data traffic, or anything like that. And this is the point where some of my friends might not like my statement, but I'm going to say, fuck Verizon, because Verizon locks down bootloaders, and that's bullshit. Like, I know they say it's for security reasons, but here's my pitch to Verizon, because there are not a lot of people in the, Android custom OS development community. There's a small amount of us compared to actual Android users all around the world. But I will tell Verizon this, though. If a phone is paid off, and it's met all the prerequisites basically for like what they would do for a SIM unlock, then they should do a bootloader unlock. They should allow the bootloaders to be unlocked. Like, take it into a Verizon store, have a technician who has the key to the castle to just unlock the bootloader. I know they're afraid that these things will leak, because that's how things leak. Like, when people are like, how'd you get this flash tool, somebody that worked for them leaked it out on the internet, right? This is why Google now has their own flash tool that's accessible publicly. You just type in Android flash tool in your Chrome search or whatever browser search you have, and it'll pull up the website. And you actually can fix your phone and flash it from that website. You don't need to download any software. You do it directly from that. There's the Android repair tool, which is also a website that flashes your phone to fix it. So you have access to all these things. These tools are all put online from Google. That's because people were already leaking it. When it comes to Samsung, there's a specific software that we used to use back in the day to flash Samsung devices called Odin. And Odin was, something that Samsung used as a tool. It leaked out publicly for people to be able to install it on their computers. And this is how you would flash different, custom ROMs that were built by the, those who were like heavy on Samsung Galaxy devices. There's that. There's so many different flash tools and scripts, things that are put in that you can do. You can do it, through ADB and type the commands out like I do. I do it, the turtle snail mail way, but it works. Because you necessarily don't have to do it that way. If you want to flash, like say, tort recovery, you can use tort recovery and just flash the rom.zip file. But their recovery is pretty reliable, so I just flash it all together. The recovery file, the ROM itself, the kernel. This one moves weird though, because the Pixel 6a didn't have a vendor kernel boot image, but the Pixel 7 did. So, and if I tap into ADB for partition B, because like I said, you have two partitions in your device, then I would love to probably install Ubuntu to partition B, which basically having those two partitions have software on it means you can dual boot. Not dual boot them at the same time, but you can dual boot. You can be on one and then switch to the other one, boot into the other software. So if I wanted to run Ubuntu on the Pixel 7, I can. The second partition, basically partition B, is where you would also install GSIs. GSIs are like custom ROMs. They're a little bit different and they're easier to install. You have a DSU loader in developer options that allows you to flash install the GSI and you can run it. Like I said, this is why I said fuck Verizon, because Verizon has my my Pixel 4 XL's bootloader locked. And with that locked, I can't try Android 14 on the Pixel 4 XL because there is an Android 14 GSI for Pixel 4 XL and Pixel 4. Now my Pixel 4, I can flash to Evolution X, but that's a little bit different. I don't know if they have the Project Sully chip enabled or functioning properly. That's one thing. The other thing is if motion sense works correctly or if it like kills the battery. Like, I mean, honestly, I don't give a shit about motion sense. So if that's not functional on the Pixel 4 or 4 XL, I don't mind that as long as the face recognition works correctly. Like the way that the Sully chip does it. See, the difference between the Pixel 7 face unlock and the Pixel 4 XL face unlock is that the 4 XL has the Sully chip, which is a radar sensor chip. So it pretty much is like equivalent to Face ID on iPhones. Whereas the unlocks on like the Pixel 7 is two-dimensional unlock, so it's not 3D mapping your face. It just has prerequisites for it to unlock, like your eyes have to be open or something, you know? Some distinction that where it won't unlock just for anybody's face. Being able to tell if it's an image or an actual live human flesh in front of the camera to unlock. So Pixel 4 XL has a little bit more in-depth facial 3D mapping, which is pretty cool. And it's wicked cool that the Pixel 4 XL can unlock in almost near darkness, right? Like if this light was very dim and the room was like nearly pitch black, you can still unlock your Pixel 4 XL. The light from the display when you wake the screen is enough lighting for it to recognize your face and unlock. So I would really love to have that on there. Stock Android is good, you know, don't get me wrong, it's good. You know, it's just some people just want a little bit more than others, right? So I don't know, you know, I think Google should hire these at-home developers to consistently build for them and allow a program that allows people that wants to use these types of custom ROMs to be able to flash them in, like, you know, not having to go through these routes. Because some people will probably watch my little quick tutorial of the Flash EvoX on the Pixel 7, and they may follow it key by key, but they may not understand exactly what I'm saying and may get confused on what they're seeing on the screen, and they may type something incorrectly and completely soft brick their phone or even hard brick their phone. And if they do that, then they're SOL screwed. So, yeah. Me personally, you know, custom ROMs is good. Stock Android's good. As far as like anyone asking me, well, what about Android 15? How are you going to get to that? I'm going to keep my phones on EvoX. Like I said, the lead developer for EvoX actually commented on yesterday's Pixel 6a video and assured me that they're going to continue. My screen went to sleep for some reason. Why did it go to sleep? That's crazy. Anyways, they assured me that they will continue support for, you know, these devices on Android 14. Right now, they're stabilizing Android 14 for a lot of different phone models that they work on. And once Android 15 is released, they have the source code files for Android 15. They'll begin building, you know, Evolution X Android 15 based, and then you'll be able to update those. It depends on what developer out there wants to continue maintaining the phone. Like there's like these developers are just like you and me, you know, and maybe they have a phone that they really like. Like I am really infatuated with the Pixel 4 XL. Like I love using that phone. That is like my favorite phone to use. And you know, if I probably could, I just don't have the time to, but I probably could learn how to develop ROMs, and I probably could figure out how to build my own custom ROMs for my Pixel 4 XL. Well, I got to buy a new one. I'm looking for not a brand new one, but I'm looking for a unlocked bootloader version of a Pixel 4 XL so I can flash custom ROMs on it. But like if I built my own ROMs, I could, you know, I definitely know I could do it. It's just I don't have the time. It's a lot of work put into it. Like you're consistently testing. So as long as there's a developer that has an interest in a particular phone, right? Like, you know, say the LG Wing
somebody has a particular interest in the LG Wing, they can continue the life support for that just by building the ROM. They have the phone to flash the software onto it to test it, make sure that everything they want functional and the custom ROM is working. And if it's working, then they'll release it to the public for anyone to download and install it. But yeah. So like Lineage OS, Graphene OS, and Calyx OS, those just depend on the developer. And the developers are easy to reach. I mean, they put their method on how to contact them. You can always pick their brain and find out where they're at headspace wise, to see if you can tell that they still have the enthusiasm in updating the ROM. Because even if they put out a stable version of the ROM, they're always consistently adding new things to these ROMs. That's one of the reasons why I love the custom ROM community, like the developers. This is why I love their work. It's because today they may say like, Evolution X, 8.3 Android 14 based is stable. It's ready. It's no longer a nightly. It's no longer, in beta. It's full-fledged. So you'll get the ROM, you'll flash it on your phone, and then maybe like tomorrow they're out with their friends having a drink at the bar and they're like, shit, this sounds like a good idea. I want to put this in there. So they go back home and they start adding in additional features, and then they put that update out for you to get. And the feature doesn't have to be like security patch level shit. It could be like, maybe they want to let you completely customize your notification shade with a custom image that you can put there. So they'll write up a script for that and incorporate that into the already stable ROM and just put that out as an update. So like they're always consistently adding new things and coming up with some weird, crazy shit. Or even like the craziest shit I've ever seen is a developer who takes a feature for a specific phone and ports it to other devices to be able to use. That's crazy. When you can take something like maybe Samsung had initially released for a Galaxy S20 and it was specific for the S20, and you can port that feature over to a Pixel 6 or to, an LG G6 or whatever's out there that's still being, supported by these developers. They do these crazy things, and I truly appreciate them for it. Like, it's amazing. That's why, for so long, I haven't fucked around with custom ROMs for so long. And Evolution X brought back that spark that made me enjoy using custom ROMs. So yes, while I won't flash any of the Android 15 betas onto my Pixel 7 now that I've flashed Evolution X onto it, I don't mind. I don't mind being on Android 14 a little bit longer than, stock devices that, will update to Android 15 as soon as it's available. I don't mind staying on Android 14 for another, 4 or 5 months. Sometimes it could take that long for them to build the Android 15 version for it. I don't mind. The phone's functional. Everything that I do on it is going to be able to work just fine. I mean, Circle to Search works on Evolution X. You can use that. So that is cool as hell. Let me go into the Play Store and update. Well, let me install the Carrier Services app. So that way it's already installed, just to make sure that RCS works on here. I have that installed, and then I'm going to update the apps. So there's 35 apps that need to be updated. So I will update all of them. Yeah. And unfortunately, I won't be dropping any like regular videos today of coverage on the Evolution X or anything like that. Just mostly going to chill. What I wanted to show and what I would have done as a video, but decided to do as a live stream, flashing the Pixel 7 at the beginning of this live stream. I've already showed that. But yeah, key things to keep in mind. Like I said, into the description has the instructions on how to flash the Pixel 7. And the instructions are almost similar to like the Pixel 6a's instructions, the Pixel 5a instructions. There's a few key differences there. Like I said, with the Pixel 7, it had actually four images that you had to flash: the boot image, the dtbo, the vendor kernel, and the vendor boot. That's 4. With the Pixel 6a, you only had the boot image, the dtbo, and the vendor boot image. So only 3 files to flash. Same with the Pixel 5. So the Pixel 7 had an additional file to flash, which, you know what, like I just followed the developer's instructions and flashed it exactly how they told me to. So all that is in the description if you guys want to try it out for yourselves. And because YouTube and Google does not like these types of things, I would appreciate if you guys did share this out to different social platforms. People can see it. Because any video that I put about a custom ROM will automatically get buried by YouTube. Like if I post a video that I use an iPhone, 10s for a day, that will kind of get circulated around. But Google doesn't like, these how to flash this device or how to install this device, how to root this device. So they will bury this. Not really like a shadow ban, but almost like a shadow ban, but not really like it. So, I am looking at probably flashing a custom ROM on my Moto G Stylus 5G 2022. Let me see if there's anything for that one. But that one's a Boost Mobile specific variant, so it's not the unlocked model. So I got to make sure that I flash the correct ROM on those. Like if you have, say like a Galaxy A54 from Metro, example, let's use that. Do not flash a custom ROM that is specific for the unlocked model. There are differences between the unlocked and the Metro version of the Galaxy A54 that I'm using as an example. So certain things may be different. So if you flash the unlocked one onto the Metro one, you could end up hard bricking your phone. Hard bricking is where the phone basically is stuck at the Google logo. Like it won't go to the splash screen, it won't load up the operating system. And you can't get into recovery. Like no matter what you do, you can't get into recovery. Your phone's basically paperweight. That's a hard brick. Soft brick is when you're in a boot loop. Like it gets to the Google logo or the Samsung logo, and then it goes to the splash screen and it just sits at the splash screen. Like if there's like a little light indicator to let you know it's doing something, like it glows in and out, or it turns into the Google name and just sits there. If it doesn't go beyond that, soft brick. Basically, it's trying to load the operating system, but there are certain things that's wrong with it, and so it can't fully load the operating system. But anyways, I'm gonna jam out of here, and I need to eat some breakfast. I appreciate everyone for joining in and watching and listening to what I had to say. How I feel about custom ROMs versus stock Android. Yeah, it just depends on you, the user, but I really like to have more control over my Android devices, and so that's why custom ROMs to me are something that I go for, but doesn't mean that you have to. And if you're going to attempt to do this and this is your first time doing it, follow the instructions carefully. The link is in the chat. The link is also in the description too as well to read. Don't just read page 1 of the custom ROMs thread. If there's like 27 pages of comments, read them. So you can see what other people's experiences have been flashing the ROM that you're about to flash. You can see if there's any issues. You can see if there's anything that they took out of the ROM that's no longer in there. That way you don't flash it if it's for a feature you wanted that was disabled because it caused issues. You don't waste your time flashing it, finding out it doesn't work, and then having to revert back to stock. So yeah, thanks for checking it out today. I appreciate you guys. Y'all are cool. And yeah, talk to you guys later.